CJOH News with Timothy Walker.
Good evening. The Ottawa 67s returned home today from the Memorial Cup. They didn't bring the cup with them, but they are still heroes to their fans. The team returned today after being eliminated before the semifinals in Regina. If you missed the welcome home party, there's another one. Tuesday at 11:30 at Ottawa City Hall. You're all invited to the event hosted by the Mayor. Carolyn Waldo will have more on this in sports. An Ottawa man is recovering from multiple stab wounds after a home invasion this morning. It happened on Lawn Avenue in West Ottawa. 3 people entered the man's home. No arrests have been made. The major crime unit is not releasing any other details. And Renfrew OPP is asking for the public's help in connection with the man's death. 38-year-old Michael Briscoe was found in his apartment on Raglan Street in Renfrew. A post-mortem is planned for tomorrow in Ottawa. No other details are being released. Anyone with information is asked to call 613-432-3211. Thousands of people hit the road today. They walked, cycled, and rollerbladed for a handful of charities. In total, they raised hundreds of thousands of valuable dollars. CJOH's Anna-Karina Tabunyar has the roundup.
On Parliament Hill, a parade of hope, a lighthearted march for a disabling disease, schizophrenia. People here had a positive message meant to raise awareness and sympathy for a treatable disease. At Dow's Lake, 400 families gathered for children.
The kids that have diseases.
Kids that have what, sweetie? Diseases.
I'm thankful that they are healthy, but I'm also sad that some children aren't, so that's why we're here doing it.
This is the 2nd annual walk for the Starlight Children's Foundation. The group grants wishes to sick and dying youngsters. Today's event raised more than $100,000.
Either deliver their computer as part of their wish, or we, have a send-off party for their trip to Disney, or if they're meeting a celebrity. It's all about the smiles on those kids' faces.
There are smiles on these faces because they raised $27,000 for brain tumor research, triple last year's amount. The money will help people like Brandon Sarametta.
Well, I've suffered from a brain tumor since I was 5, and I know that with the help of many people, I was able to recover from it.
20% of Canadians will receive the devastating diagnosis.
The odds are, I guess, around 1 in 5. We diagnose about 10,000 Canadians every year with brain tumors.
Research for another disease got a shot in the arm today. Employees of Zellers raised funds for cystic fibrosis. The deadly disease strikes the lungs and digestive system. This walk went to the dogs, literally. Money raised here went to the Canadian guide dogs and to help people who rely on them.
I lied on her to get independent, to get from point A to point B.
We really believe strongly in the guide dogs and people that aren't as fortunate as we are to have eyesight.
Whether they walked for dogs or disabilities, they gave a little time to make a world of difference. Anna-Karina Tabunyar, CJOH News.
Not the beautiful sunny day that we had all hoped for, and I gather we're still hoping.
It really depends, I guess, where you live, because in the west end of Ottawa, we had to wait an awful long time for the showers. We had a fair bit of sunshine. Things are just like that these days, and you know what? It's going to be like that again tomorrow. Scattered showers, some thunderstorms, who knows where they're going to fall. We'll talk about it coming up in the forecast. Timothy?
You're going to get hit by that lightning. Striking employees of the National Gallery have turned their picket signs into art on a stick. The workers are the designers, writers, and organizers of gallery exhibits, and they've decided to pool their creative resources to develop artistic expressions of their discontent. One of the main symbols of the protest, red shoes. The picketers say the shoes represent the many kilometers walked on the picket line. Residents of Clarence Creek, Bourget, and Hammond, just east of Ottawa, have been told to boil their water for 1 minute before drinking it. The advisory came from health officials after high levels of sediment were discovered. The medical officer of health said there is only a slight chance parasites are present. A church at the center of Francophone life in a West Ottawa neighborhood for more than 75 years closed its doors today. The St. Jean d'Arc parish just didn't have enough parishioners. The CJOH's Chris Day reports the closure is part of a growing trend.
For the parishioners at St. John d'Arc Church, it was a day of endings, a final communion, a final mass, the last time meeting as a family.
A parish normally must have a lot of persons in order to be a really family of faith.
The problem is their family keeps getting smaller. Father Emili Tota says his church is a victim of its location.
The person move and that make here they don't have person a lot, but in other parish, in Orleans or in Canada, the church are full.
That's small comfort to longtime parishioners.
For anybody who's been coming to a church 45 years to see it go down the drain, it's almost like losing one of your relatives or something like that.
Ottawa's Archbishop says the number of Francophones is dropping in relative terms at a time when the number of newcomers to Canada is on the rise.
There are demographic changes. There are new people coming in, and it affects both the English parishes and the French parishes. It affects all the parishes.
The parish closure at Jeanne d'Arc is the first of 2 parish closures in Ottawa this week. Christ King on Argyle will officially close next Sunday. Vietnamese and Korean Catholic associations will form new parishes at each of these churches. Church officials say it's a sign of the times, an encouraging sign of the adaptability of traditional religion. Chris Day, CJOH News.
You may have had to pull a few strings to play in this Ottawa festival, but it was worth it. The Strings of the Future Festival wrapped up tonight with a gala featuring the piano. Yes, a string instrument. The event has gained an international reputation and is only presented every 2 years. It is not only lovely to watch, it brings together artists with similar passions to explore the future of their craft in Canada. After the break, weather and sports with Eric and Carolyn. First, the staff and patrons of Zaphod Bibelbrox tonight paid tribute to the man responsible for the Ottawa Bar's name. Zaphod Bibelbrox was a character in Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Adams died earlier this month, and tonight it was time to pay final respects. Patrons were encouraged to dress up and bring props related to the book. In the book, a towel was something you couldn't live without. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Car Canada. Think of the money you're going to save.
Well, you're not seeing double, folks. My identical twin, Omar, has joined me on my mission for Goodyear, because some of you still think all tires are the same. Hit it, Omar. Now, the other way around. There you go. Goodyear is the #1 choice in Canada for school buses and, what's that supposed to be? Airplane. Oh, really? You want safe, you want Goodyear. Is that the best drawing you could do there? I'm really sorry, folks. I'm really... Oh, here we go. Yeah, go ahead. Call Mom. I'm not scared. Actually, I am.
It is everywhere, in every business, big and small, spanning the globe and beyond. It connects the world and drives the economy. It's not just a new way of doing business. It's a new way of living. It's thousands of jobs in established Fortune 500 companies that need to be filled. It is e-business, and ITI is the school that can teach you to master it. Call us now for your free information kit. We are the postgraduate e-business school. No matter what your background, we'll transform you into a skilled e-business professional. In our state-of-the-art schools, you'll work in teams learning from the nation's e-business education experts. You'll develop the skills you need to advance along with technology. If you have a bachelor degree in any discipline, call ITI now for a free information kit. Or better yet, call to arrange a school visit. Lots of schools can get you a job in IT. This one can give you a career in e-business. Call toll-free, 1-866-374-8078.
We're going cruising again, this time to Hawaii. Join me next January the 17th. We'll fly from Ottawa to California to start our 15-day Circle Hawaii cruise. We'll spend 4 glorious days at sea, crossing the Pacific to Hilo, Hawaii. Then for the next 5 days, we'll visit Honolulu, Maui, Kauai, and Kona before starting our leisurely return journey. Join me. For details or to book your cabin, call Bob's Cruises at 1-800-361-6688. CJOH News is brought to you in part by Tubman Funeral Homes.
Good evening, everyone. Well, temperature-wise, this is pretty typical. We hit a high of 20 today in Ottawa. The average high for this day of the year, 21 degrees. We've certainly cooled off since a thunderstorm earlier in the evening. We're now at 13 degrees. We have fog in the area, humidity very high. Winds are light out of the southeast, and the pressure 100.7, and that is holding steady. Now, things are still the same. You're still not going to want to leave without your umbrella tomorrow because we are expecting more scattered showers and thunderstorms. You may see them off on the horizon or you may see them overhead. It's just the way these things work. Because of this system we know and love so well, this cold low that's been here for about a week now, rotating around itself, we are seeing some movement to this. We expect it now to start drifting northeastward, so within the next couple of days, we could get out of the grips of this thing. But while we're still in it, we're still looking for those bands of cloud, showers, and thunderstorms to circle around this thing. Now, here is our radar imagery for the last 12 hours. As you can see, we started out in kind of a sunny corridor, so we had a fair amount of sunshine. That just helped heat up the atmosphere at the ground, and we started to see these convective showers and thunderstorms kind of blooming out of nowhere as the moist, humid air starts to heat up and rise. We saw some pretty severe thunderstorms down along the St. Lawrence. We saw a ring of them coming through Ottawa. And where are we now? Well, the shower activity is kind of passing north of the Ottawa River Valley. Still seeing some rain in Pembroke and north of Peterborough, but we think the most of it has happened for the night. It'll just all start over again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens then. Temperatures around the region have cooled off anywhere from 8 degrees at Watertown to 14s in Maniwaki and in Montreal. Our systems map then, well, this is pretty much the same one I drew yesterday because we have this cold low, still the activity rotating counterclockwise around this and kind of like the spokes of a wheel, but we are going to start to see it move northeastward so that by maybe Wednesday or Thursday, we could be seeing the end of this weather pattern. Your Market Fresh 5-day forecast calling for continuing chance of showers or thunderstorms tonight, but the worst of it is over, low of 13. For tomorrow, a recurrence of scattered showers and thunderstorms, particularly in the early afternoon. Look for a high of 19 degrees. Tuesday, cloudy and a chance of showers and 19. Perhaps by Wednesday, we could be starting to dry out with a mix of sun and cloud and 19. Thursday could be a mainly sunny day. Here's hoping.
Okay, one of those days I have to get my flowers in the ground before it starts raining again.
Good luck.
A little slow.
Some of us had to work the long weekend.
Yes, I know. Hint, hint.
Not you.
I know. I was very lucky.
What have you got for us tonight?
Lots of stuff on tap tonight. Boy, oh boy. Well, good evening. Well, oh, I don't have my mic on. That might help. Okay, let me try again. I guess I'm still on holiday, aren't I?
For how much longer?
I know. Okay, I'll just hang on to it for now. Well,
Here,
good evening.
you
Well,
keep
the Ottawa
talking, I'll put it on.
Flying home, the Memorial Cup Championship was being decided in Regina, and it was quite a finish between Red Deer and Val-d'Or. The Rebels opened the scoring with 2 goals in the first period. Kyle Wanbig with his first of 2 in the game. He was named the MVP, 2-0 Red Deer. But Val-d'Or replied to the second with 5 unanswered goals for a 5-4 lead. Veilleux with a short-handed goal. And then 51 seconds into the third period with Red Deer on the power play, Wanbig ties it at 5 to send it into overtime. And 13 minutes in, Jeff Smith scores the winner for a 6-5 victory, giving the top-ranked Rebel the Canadian Hockey League title. So it's the first time the Western Hockey League has captured the title since 1998. The WHL has won 14 Memorial Cups, which is the most among the 3 major junior hockey leagues. And the Ottawa 67s are back home tonight following a disappointing run at the Memorial Cup. However, they have plenty to be proud after surprising many teams during the playoffs. The 67s will be honored at City Hall on Tuesday at 11:30 in the Festival Plaza on Laurier Avenue West for their tremendous effort this season. Congratulations. Well, the Stanley Cup final is enjoying 2 days off as it resumes Tuesday night in Colorado. The Avalanche have taken a 1-0 series lead after shutting out the Devils 5-0 last night. Randy McKay will miss Tuesday's game. He broke 2 fingers after colliding with Ray Bourque. The Avalanche are expecting a much tougher game on Tuesday.
Next game's a huge game for us. We know we saw them, probably play one of their worst games in the playoffs, and we expect them. They're going to be a lot better next game.
The LA Lakers remain unbeatable in the NBA playoffs. Today they did it again, this time to the San Antonio Spurs, winning 111-82 in the Western Final to sweep the series 4-0. The Lakers are now 11-0 in postseason play. Los Angeles will have at least 6 days off to await the outcome of the Milwaukee-Philadelphia series in the East. Derek Fisher had 28 points for the Lakers, while Shaquille O'Neal scored 23 of his 26 points in the first half. To baseball, the Jays playing their rubber match in Boston. Toronto takes a 2-0 lead in the second inning. Brad Fulmer hits a solo shot. And then in the fourth, the Red Sox evened up. Brian DeBach drills it deep to right to make it 2-2. Bottom of the fifth, Carl Everett drives one to right for a double. Trot Nixon scores. That would be the winning run. Sox win it 4-2 to take 2 out of the 3 games. Now the Expos were in Philadelphia. We'll pick it up in the fifth inning with Montreal ahead 2-0. Mike Mordecai hits a solo shot to left, his second of the season. 3-0 Expos. Now the Phillies take the lead in the sixth, trailing 3-2. Pat Burrell drives one off the foul pole. It's gone for a 2-run shot, 4-3 Philly. In the seventh, the Phillies pad their lead. Scott Rowland lines one down the third baseline. Jimmy Rollins and Bobby Abreu score for a 6-3 lead. Phillies go on to win 7-5. However, the Expos win the second game of a doubleheader, 7-3, to split the double bill. Quite a slugfest at Jet Forum Park today as the Lynx wrapped up their homestand against Durham tonight. The Lynx jumped into the lead in the first inning with 3 runs. Bergeron on third. Mateo hits a grounder to the shortstop. Bergeron scores. Now to the 8th inning, with the Bulls responding with 5 runs. Bases loaded right here, and then Brandon Agnioni walks the runner home to make it 7-5. That was for Wright that he walked in. But the Lynx respond with 4 runs. The game tied at 8. Brian Schneider's drops this one to left field. Bergeron scores. The Lynx win it 10-8 for their 3rd straight win. They are in Norfolk tomorrow. Well, the Indy 500 still belongs to Team Roger Penske. It was rookie Elio Constaneves, also known as the Spider-Man, who took the checkered flag. Fellow Brazilian and teammate Gil de Ferran finished second. It was a record 11th victory for Team Penske. Earlier in the 9th lap, Sarah Fisher loses control and slams into the wall, taking Canadian Scott Goodyear with her. Goodyear was taken to hospital with a fractured lower back. He was to be kept overnight for observation. And chalk up another Formula One victory for Michael Schumacher. He took the checkered flag at the Monaco Grand Prix for the 48th win of his brilliant career. That leaves him 3 behind Alain Prost, the all-time leader in victories. Canada's Jacques Villeneuve was 4th. And that's a look at sports.
Thank you. When we come back, how Canadian cities are losing their competitive edge. But first, competitors of a different sort. Ferret owners gathered today at Andrew Hayden Park in West Ottawa. The unusual pets were put through their paces, and there were awards for best dressed, shortest tail, pinkest nose, you know, the important qualities of all self-respecting ferrets. Just don't call them ferret faces. We're back in 2 shakes of a ferret's tail.
I have a tip for you, Barlow.
And I have one for you.
You have a tip for me?
I told him about Ultramatic beds, that they were electric and adjustable. I described the soothing heat and invigorating massage.
I gotta hand it to you, Barlow. Sounds all right.
And you could win one free.
Ray.
Just call this number to be eligible. They'll also send you a free information package.
Free?
25 and 40-year warranties. No purchase is necessary, but it's a limited time offer.
Calling about the draw for a free bed.
Inventory clearance, golf, bikes, inline skates, all apparel and equipment, everything must go now at Tommy & LaFave. Dunlop, soft base insert putters, $19.99. Titleist Forged Pro wedges, $139.99. Tommy & LaFave's inventory blowout ends May 31st.
To enjoy in the 2001 Camry Plus, you may never take another shortcut again.
When I want to please my family, we visit our favorite family restaurant, Golden Griddle. There's lots of variety, kids love it, and the bill fits my budget. Golden Griddle, the best in breakfast all day. For a limited time only, all our steak dishes are under $10. Try our steak and eggs, only $6.99.
When Ottawa hosted the Big City Mayors Conference, probably a couple months ago now, we all learned about the importance that cities were going to have in the future of Canada. Well, David McGuinty works exclusively with that issue, and in the round table, the Prime Minister wants you to look at this issue, and indeed the Canadian Federation of Municipalities will be doing that this weekend. You recently have done a report and explain to us your major findings about the future of Canada and cities.
Well, the first thing we've learned is that almost 80% of Canadians live in cities now. 90% of us live within 2 hours of the United States. And we're not alone. Cities all over the world are changing, and developing country cities are facing the biggest crises of all. But in a Canadian context, because of this urbanization phenomena, there are all sorts of new pressures on cities that they never faced before. And that includes huge population growth, like the city of Ottawa, growing almost at the rate of 1 Kingston a year now. It means very few powers for raising revenues, powers of taxation are different, and so on. So what you have is a situation where, in a context of lots of devolution of responsibility from provinces and even the federal government to cities, cities are facing, in some instances, great challenges in terms of keeping quality of life high.
So in your report, you found out that we're economically disadvantaged now in our cities, and particularly when you compare it to some cities in the United States, for example. What needs to happen for that to change?
I think a very big decision has to be taken now by the federal and provincial governments to decide whether or not they can further their cooperation in investing in cities. The United States learned 25 years ago that the insides of their major cities on the northeast of the United States were crumbling. And in fact, they were emptying, and people were driving in droves, effectively, down into the southwest of the United States and building cities in the desert, creating all sorts of other problems, like water demands and so on. But Canada's now coming to a point where our infrastructure needs in cities are very high. The European Union and the United States of America have already decided that they're going to be investing far more in their cities than we have. About 1/3 of the entire European Union budget, which is a massive, massive investment, is going into European cities. Our government nationally announced a $2 billion fund for 6 years to invest in Canadian cities. That's nothing when you compare it to the $100 billion US being invested in the United States over the next 6 years, only for transportation. So we're facing a situation here now where the citizens and municipalities are saying, well, who's in charge? And why are we starting to feel the effects of North Battleford's or Walkerton's? And so right now you have a bit of a passing of the buck between the cities to the provinces to the feds, and sometimes right down to the operators of water plants in places like Walkerton.
We're talking about a changing power situation. I know the municipalities are saying they want more power, but at this meeting this weekend of the Canadian Federation of Municipalities, Ottawa will not be represented. Can you tell us why and what it means not to have the capital's voice at the table?
The meeting you're talking about is a meeting of the big 5 city mayors, excluding Ottawa, and it's hosted by a prominent activist in Toronto by the name of Jane Jacobs, and she's passionate and very committed to cities. I think it's a huge mistake not to be involving not just Ottawa, but another, what I'd call top 10 or top 15 tier cities. Ottawa is often misunderstood outside of Ottawa. People don't have much of an idea of how fast we're growing, the pace of change, the transformation of the economy here. We're no longer just a government town. So I think there's a bit of that involved here, a bit of psychology that Ottawa is just a government town. But secondly, I think that the big 5 city mayors have decided that they represent about 1/3 of the Canadian population, and that's a good place to start. I don't think that they're saying that they're not going to move outwards and include cities like Ottawa and Regina and other places. I think it's just a question of, they're starting by starting.
Is it not important that Ottawa have a say in the future of cities in Canada?
Ottawa has a very unique role to play because of the information technology boom here, which is where our economy nationally is going. One of our findings is that increasingly cities around the country are no longer dependent on natural resources like pulp and paper. I mean, this city was built on wood and lumber. But we're no longer dependent on minerals and pulp and paper. What we're more dependent on than ever before is brain power and people. And if you can't attract people to come and work in the high-tech sector, and they can't feel that their air quality is high and their water quality is safe, and they can park their kids in their schools and do what they do best, which is work hard to build high-tech companies, we're going to be driving away brain power. Without brain power, we can't have a flourishing high-tech economy. So Ottawa has a lot of lessons to share with the rest of the country, and Montreal is fighting hard to build its high-tech community, for example. So they're looking to Ottawa increasingly for advice and guidance.
David McGinty, thank you.
Thank you.
My husband Scott's in the military, and in the last 5 years we've lived in 4 different cities. And that's a picture of my children, Taylor and Brittany, in New Brunswick. There's Taylor, that's in Calgary, and that's Scott with Taylor and Brittany outside of our house in Winnipeg. It's always a relief when we move somewhere and there's a Walmart there because it's familiar and I know I'm going to be able to get the things we need and at a good price. Home used to be Calgary, where I grew up, but now home is wherever we're living.
The National Arts Center Orchestra and CJOH are proud to present Radio Days, featuring hits from the swing era. Join the National Arts Center Orchestra and vocal quintet 5 by Design as they perform such hits as Chattanooga Choo Choo and the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Don't miss Radio Days, part of the exciting NAC CJOH Pop Series, June 7th, 8th, and 9th at the National Arts Center.
One more woman hearing herself think. One more woman ignoring the word impossible. One more woman finding a few miles of peace. One less woman waiting for someday. Achieve new balance.
Motionwear, source for sports, 3 great locations.
Get in and be moved. Performance Mazda invites you to see the new Mazdas. Great product, great prices, great people. Celebrating over 30 years in business. Performance is our word. Performance Mazda, Windmill Lane. Zoom in and zoom out.
Nature replenishes herself 4 times a year. We recommend 6. Because the fresher your Brita filter, the cleaner your water.
E3, the annual gathering of gamers, has wrapped up for another year. On this week's Webmania, CTV's Bill Hutchison and game guy Mark Saltzman look ahead to what's shaping up to be the biggest ever computer and gaming console fall launch.
The world was blown up or saved countless times at the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles last week. The annual gaming trade show is better known as E3, and gaming guru Mark Saltzman was there.
This year's E3 was very much about the console wars. As you know, Sony has their PlayStation 2 out, and they're doing well with it. They've got over 10 million units sold now worldwide. But Nintendo and Microsoft announced that their new video game systems are coming out just 3 days apart from each other in November. The Xbox from Microsoft is coming out November 8th for about $450 Canadian, and Nintendo announced at the show just hours later that their new video game system, the GameCube, is coming out November 3rd for $300 Canadian. And I think it's going to be pretty hard to decide for a parent, you know, what system to buy later on this year.
Mark says also big this year, more online games. Even the consoles have an online component.
Online gaming is definitely the future, not just for the PC, but for consoles. And as Sony just announced before the E3 Expo, a strategic alliance with AOL. And in November, funny enough, the same month that the Nintendo's GameCube and the Microsoft Xbox are coming out, Sony is going to be selling a hard drive and a modem for their Sony PS2.
And here's a site suggestion from Mark that's especially useful for searching out media files, from images and animations to movies to music files. Just choose a category, type in an optional keyword, and you're off. Media Spider will automatically create thumbnail previews, archive your files, and more. Alain suggests a site that will take you to many of the best the web has to offer. Nominating judges have selected 135 websites, for the 5th Annual Webby Awards. The nominees help define the current state of the net. Canadian Webby nominees include myvideogames.com and 120seconds.com. If you own a home, chances are sooner or later you'll want to do some renovations. But how do you figure out how much a job should cost or whether a contractor's quote is a fair price? OntarioContractors.com has plenty of information on home renos, including a calculator that will tell you how much it would cost if you built the whole house from scratch. And the quotes should be fairly representative of costs right across the country. Compaq has unveiled a striking set of concept machines that begin to mix the designs of laptops and desktops. No word when you'll see these models in stores, but Compaq says the technology to create the wireless interfaces is already there. It's just a matter of deciding which technology or mix of technologies to use before the process begins of taking the design to the market stage. Remember, you can link to these sites through our website, and note our new, easier-to-remember address, www.webmania.tv. And remember to send us suggestions for great sites that you've found. Our address is webmania@ctv.ca. I'm Bill Hutchison, CTV News.
I hate boxes. I hate them with a passion. You can give them flashy names and flashy options, but when you get right down to it, they're still boxes. Did I tell you how much I hate boxes? This is my car.
The new 2001 Sebring sedan from Chrysler.
I don't have to tell you why you should quit smoking. You have your reasons. They're as good as anyone's, including mine. But if you're looking for something to help you quit, something to help control your cravings, I recommend Nicoderm. It's a patch most recommended by doctors and pharmacists.
Try new Nicoderm Clear, the most discreet patch.
That be all, Doctor?
Thanks.
You smoke?
Not anymore.
Nicoderm, most recommended by doctors and pharmacists.
Look at this plate. This is so cool.
It's spring water dial. Clean. Cool. A refreshing scent from one of the most trusted antibacterial soaps of all. Aren't you glad you used Dial?
Cooking for Mom? Nice thought. To really treat her, best go with my mom's mega meal, complete with 9 pieces of chicken, all the fixins, and a chocolate obsession cake with score bits. And it's all for just $20.99. You know, the thought only counts for so much. Come on down, because at KFC, we treat Mom right.
With Homecrest fine patio furniture, you get style. And with all the choices you get from Homecrest, you can make it your style. With Homecrest fine patio furniture, you get quality, the kind of quality you've come to expect for over 45 years. With Homecrest fine patio furniture, you get comfort, the kind of comfort you deserve. Get comfortable, get Homecrest.
What do you want to watch?
I don't know.
It's nothing on.
Great. Then we can talk about our relationship.
This tragedy could have been averted with Star Choice Satellite TV. Star Choice offers more programming choice for less money than cable, so it's a great value. How would their lives have changed with Star Choice? Star Choice. It's a better TV experience.
The headline in tomorrow's edition of the Ottawa Citizen reads, police officers oppose easing marijuana laws. On the Ottawa Sun front page will say, Mom's hopes go up in flames. Eric, in the weather this week.
Well, we're looking for another cloudy night overnight tonight. Still a chance of showers, particularly in eastern regions, but things are calming down. And tomorrow will be much like today. We're expecting that convective shower and thunderstorm activity to start in the early afternoon and look for a high of 19 degrees.
Convective.
Convective. Comes out of nowhere. Hard to predict.
Bag, churned. Bring an umbrella, play it safe. Thanks for dropping in on us this weekend. We'll see you later.
CTV, Canadian television.